was one lady who would come through the orphanages and take photos of us, and I didn't know what she was doing. I don't think any of us knew, but so she would take these photos and go to churches and show them to parents who were looking to adopt. And my mom, I guess, saw the pictures, and she had several children picked out at first, and she picked my picture, my sister's picture, and my younger sister's picture, and she had no idea we were related.
Hey everybody, this is Brittany. I just wanted to say that my baby is here recording this episode with us, so if you see him popping on and off camera, or if you hear a lot of noise in the background, don't let it be a distraction. It is just life happening, and I love bringing you into it. I hope that you enjoy the episode. Hey, and welcome to another episode of Learning to Love Well. Today on my couch, I have my friend Ivy. Hi, Ivy.
Hi, Brittany.
I'm super excited for Ivy to be here because she has an incredible story that we're going to dive right into. But first of all, can you just tell them a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Ivy, and I am a mom of two boys now. I was adopted from Eastern Europe area, born in Western Russia. And I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited. And you're also behind the scenes this entire time for all of these episodes. You are behind the scenes, behind the camera, which is awesome.
Yes.
Back and forth, and also like holding the baby and doing other things.
A lot of juggling.
Yes, there is. Okay, so you mentioned that you were born in Russia. Can you tell us a little bit about your childhood and what took place from the time you were born?
Sure. I was born in Russia, as I said, and it was during the Soviet Union reign. I think it was coming to an end, and the war was ending, and my family decided to flee that country and move to Eastern Europe to take shelter. And we spoke different languages. My parents went to get jobs and just left my sisters and I in the apartment we were in, which was like a hostel for different families that had done the same thing. And they didn't come back, it was scary, and we had to figure things out.
And how old were you and your siblings at this time?
So at this time, my younger sister was 2, and I was 4, and my older sister was 6.
Wow. And you're having to survive for how long? How long were you without family or parents or an adult?
So I read back on my records, and it said 2 weeks, which seems like a long time.
Yeah.
But I remember like making my own pasta, and we had one of those iron coils to boil water, and I remember plugging that in and like being shocked, electrocuted, and like thrown back.
Wow.
But
That's so
survived somehow.
Yeah, because the Lord had his hand on your life.
Yes.
Which is why. And then so your oldest sister, was she kind of just taking care of you?
She was watching over us. I remember my mom telling her, like, don't leave the room, don't go out, don't talk to anyone, don't let anyone in.
Whoa.
And of course, we were kids, so we went out, like ran out,
No.
ran out, and we're running down the halls, and people were giving us food and stuff. And I think that kick-started the whole journey into boarding school and the adoption.
So somebody came and found you there. Mm-hmm. Who was it?
It was this man. He was middle-aged maybe, and he gave us a plate of like cheese and sausage to take back. And I think he must have found the boarding school in the orphanage, and I'm not sure, my memory escapes me on how long between that time and the time we were picked up was.
And so you were brought then to a boarding school where you were separated from your siblings.
Yes.
And it wasn't like a normal boarding school. Like,
No.
tell us a little bit about that.
So it was a overnight boarding school, and they had like math. We had math, Bible study, and literature. No history, no science. Like all this stuff in America is just extra. Okay, I'm just kidding. But it was very simple, and it was a full day where we did a lot of math. They made us do. We had art and like handwriting. They were very strict on handwriting.
Interesting.
I remember this, and every time we would mess up, they would like slap our hands.
Wow.
But I had good handwriting when I came to the States, and now it's just kind of chicken scratch.
It didn't last.
It did not last.
Tell me about the people that worked there, your experience there.
The people that worked there were strict, and didn't really care for the children, and the kids would just, even in the boarding school, and we never knew where they went. Nobody would tell us where they went, even
Were
though we
most of the
asked.
kids coming, like, were they mostly refugee kids?
They
that
were
coming
refugee kids, and I've done research recently on like the whole history behind that, and a lot of them were like military family kids.
Oh, okay. So you were, sorry, you
The
then were
boarding
moved
school
again.
Was
Okay.
very short term,
Okay.
and we were after the boarding school happened, we were told that our family had died and nobody was coming to get us, because normally boarding school is a short-term solution, and that's when we were taken to the orphanage because there was nobody to come take us home. Like,
Okay, so tell me about the orphanage.
all right, so the orphanage was a dark dark place. We were picked up from the boarding school and taken into the orphanage, and all these kids there were around our ages, and they were split up into different buildings. So my sisters and I were in 3 different places, and we would visit each other, trying to like check in on each other. And we were there for maybe 2-3 years.
Wow.
It was a while, and a lot happened while we were there. We had missionaries come through to visit and like give like Christmas stuff, clothes, food, and do some ministry stuff. And that was the first time that I remember ever hearing about Jesus. And they focused a lot on the actual like crucifixion, which is kind of strange.
Yeah.
And
Not the like resurrection, but
no,
more so on the
I
crucifixion.
didn't know about the resurrection until I was way older, like in my teen years.
How interesting is
Yeah.
that? But was that the first time that you believed that Jesus was real? Or did you believe when you heard these things?
I didn't really believe. I had a hard time trying to like wrap my brain around the actual like this person was a miracle, and what set him apart from all of us.
Yeah.
That was never really explained to me
Interesting.
as a child.
What was the language barrier there? Was there a language barrier with the missionaries?
They had a translator. They had one translator, and there were a bunch of kids, like younger kids, older kids, and we could understand. I actually had to learn the language they spoke in the orphanage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it went from Russian to Moldovan, and it was
That must have been so, it's
completely
just so
different.
much transition and so much that, and so scary.
a little bit.
And then being separated from your sisters. And so when these people, it was Samaritan's Purse, wasn't it?
Samaritan's Purse was first.
Okay.
And when they came, the counselor, I guess that's what they were called, counselors, she told us not to go. Like, nobody go and talk to them. Don't go near them. And
The counselor at the orphanage was saying, don't go to the Samaritan's Purse
Yes.
missionaries.
Yeah.
Okay.
because they were there when we were supposed to have naps or whatever. It was like a break between after school and before like the nighttime routine. We had jobs like picking trash off the carpets and stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
And so we snuck away to go see what was going on because we saw all these older kids going to this big room in another building. And we went in there and they were singing in a circle. So it was just me and two other kids. And yes, we got in trouble afterwards.
Oh. But what was your experience with seeing that and walking in that room?
It was filled with joy that I hadn't experienced in a while. Because the discipline was so like strict there, and everything had to be done in a certain way or their way.
Yeah.
And it was liberating. It's like a weight lifted off even at 7 years old.
Yeah, you could feel like an atmosphere
Definitely,
change.
yes.
There's
And
freedom there that you weren't experiencing.
yes. And that, I think everybody strives for that kind of freedom. It's just
Yeah.
hard to find sometimes.
Yes. And so you had that experience with them, and then Operation Christmas Child came.
Yes, not too long. I think it was that same year, around December. It was January because there they celebrated Christmas in January. I'm not sure if it's like a religious thing or what. Same with Easter. It's not on the same day.
Okay.
But so Operation Christmas Child came through and gave out boxes. And there, whenever you're given a gift like that, the people in charge would just take it.
Oh,
So that's
Ivy.
like fair. You
Oh
get
my
to look through
goodness.
it, but then you don't actually get to enjoy it. They would take it and
So
give
they wanted
to
it to seem like you guys were receiving this stuff, and then
yeah.
they weren't letting you
Yeah,
have.
and, I mean, nobody wants to hear that, but it did happen.
So you did you experience the same joy and
Same joy in the
hope,
moment.
love, anything like that?
Whenever, like, not every kid got a box, and being chosen to get the box and like look through it, it was a small joy because like otherwise we would get like a squeaky toy under our pillow.
Yeah, yeah, for
As
Christmas.
sad as it was, that was like
Exciting.
It was exciting. Yes.
Yeah. And did did those encounters with these people have a lasting impact on you?
It did. It just brought hope for just looking towards something else other than the strict structure of the orphanage. And I was one of the kids that got bullied a lot too. And I just held on to that joy that I felt in that moment whenever they were there. And that kept me just going day to day,
Wow.
waking up and just like not paying attention to this person tugging on my hair or getting pushed around.
Yeah.
It's just looking back on those orphanage days is rough.
I'm sorry.
So
yeah.
many stories.
Yeah. And we don't have to camp in like the painful part of it.
No.
But did you associate then joy and hope and those feelings that you were having with Jesus, even though you didn't really fully even understand the message of Jesus?
It wasn't really like Jesus, sadly, not then.
Yeah.
But I think that's the reason why these people were so happy. I mean, I know that's the reason why these people brought that hope and joy into the orphanage, just so we could have just like a seed planted and something to look for.
I feel like that's so encouraging for anybody listening that does missions or even, I mean, not even missions outside of the country, because sometimes you just don't have any idea what type of impact you could be
From
having.
the other side, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And like maybe that one visit that they made could have touched you in a way, and they'll never know until they get to heaven, you
Right.
know, that they chose to
And
go
there's
there.
no way of them knowing unless they go back in like 10 years and you're still there.
Right. Yeah. And would they return, or were those that was like
It was
a one-time experience for both of those?
One-time experience, and that's the crazy thing coming back, like coming to America. It was like seeing people stand up in church and talk about Operation Christmas Child and like Samaritan's Purse still doing their work. It's like, it's encouraging.
Yeah.
And I've never gotten to play the part of going with them. I've always wanted to, but it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, the door will open when it's meant to open. Well, it's also encouraging for people listening that are sitting in church, and those people get up and they're taking offerings. And sometimes it's hard to give an offering to something where you're like, is my money going where they're saying it's going? Is it really making an impact to like,
But it is.
but actually, even if it impacts one person like you,
That's right.
then it was worth it, which
And
that
it
gives
did.
me goosebumps.
That like stuck with me my entire life. So
Yeah.
keep doing good work.
Yes. Okay. Tell me how then the Lord started encountering you through that, after that.
So after that, like I don't remember before that having any dreams at all. And after
Like nighttime sleep dreams is what you're referring to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So after that, you started having nighttime dreams.
Nighttime
Tell
dreams.
us about that.
So the first one I had, I was actually I had chicken pox.
Okay. Fun.
Yes, and they had put iodine all over the spots, and I remember falling asleep the first night in the little isolation room, and I had a dream of being sucked into a black hole. And I was reaching upward in like sheer darkness, and there were white arms like reaching down to try to like help me up, and I would wake up. I wouldn't ever finish the dream.
That was a reoccurring dream that you kept having while you were in the orphanage.
Yes.
You're still there.
Yep.
Okay. So fast forwarding to tell us about how you got to the U.S. because now you live here in
Now I
Ponte
live in
Vedra,
the
Florida.
US.
Ponte Vedra Beach,
Yes.
Florida.
It's crazy. So we had like showings for foster families. There was one lady who would come through the orphanages and take photos of us. And I didn't know what she was doing. I don't think any of us knew, but so she would take these photos and go to churches and show them to parents who are looking to adopt. And my now mom, I guess, saw the pictures, and she had several children picked out at first, and she picked my picture, my sister's picture, and my younger sister's picture, and she had no idea we were related.
That also gives me
Yeah.
goosebumps. Wow.
And so after that, like this was all in the background. We didn't know what was going on.
Right.
But whenever they came to the orphanage to meet us in person, that was wild. Like they would bring us gifts, and of course, they would be taken away. And I just remember seeing like these cross necklaces hanging on it wasn't a mannequin. It was like just the neck portion, and they would lock it away. Yeah.
They would just keep it, though.
They would just, keep it.
So that you could see, but you couldn't have it. Wow.
And whenever we were told that we were being adopted, all the kids and the leaders would be like, oh, you don't want to go to America because it's where Satan lives and it's hell, which is kind of crazy.
Wow. Yeah.
But it just put a fear in me. And the next time that my now parents came to visit, like my older sister wanted nothing to do with them.
Because she was terrified. Why do you think they did that? Were they jealous, like out of jealousy maybe that you were being adopted? I want to
say out of jealousy, but it's weird because they were like nice to us after that. Like I was bullied beforehand, and now everybody was like trying to make me want to stay.
Yeah, that is really, we can only assume.
Yeah.
Motivations, yeah.
And then it was just crazy because I wanted to leave beforehand because all these crazy things would happen at the orphanage. Like kids would go missing. We would be told that they were like fed to the dogs because they were misbehaving. And that was the threat they would hold over us just to keep us quiet and behaving.
And now you're wanting to stay because you're scared of the U.S. But your parents come anyway. Your adoptive parents come.
They come and, well, this is also kind of important because I had a little friend in the same orphanage, and he was telling me like the dogs are gonna come get you, and he told me that to hide under his bed in the middle of the night, which I did. And I like saw shadows moving towards where my room was with the other girls, and woke up the next morning and I was still under his bed.
There's
still
so
there.
much. There's so much fear there.
So
that
much
you lived
fear,
through
and
for
that
a
was
long
like,
time.
yeah. And after like the process of being adopted and coming to the States, we got to our house and we didn't know what to do because like we didn't have showers or like sewage or anything in the orphanage or even like a toothbrush.
Wow.
And I remember my mom would comb our lice out. We came with lice. It was
Yeah.
It was terrible. We didn't know what lice was.
Yeah. You were just living with it. That was just your normal.
Yeah.
And so tell us a little bit about your adoptive parents.
So my dad was a pastor, and my mom, I guess, couldn't have kids, and they tried, and she kept having miscarriages. And she ended up adopting a little girl from Mexico first, and then had an exchange student that was staying with them, who's now my brother. And my brother and my dad also came over to the orphanage and like took us out around town, which was different. We'd never been in a car.
Wow.
So being in the car was like nerving. Like,
yeah,
where
scary.
are we going? What is happening?
Right.
Like I've been on trains and airplanes, but never in a car.
Interesting.
It's kind of weird.
Wow. Yes.
So coming to the States and learning another language was crazy because this is the third time we'd had to like transition to a new area.
Yeah.
And my dad, being a pastor, helped because we would go to church and like listen to people talk, and his parents would come to town to go through flashcards so we would learn the language a little faster. And my mom just poured in so much energy to try to get us transitioned into living a lifestyle where we didn't have to steal food from the closet or like store food.
Yeah. So did they put you in therapy and things like that?
No.
Okay.
And going back, she recently was like, I wish I had.
Okay. So walk us through transitioning. You're now going to church probably regularly because your dad's a pastor.
Attendance.
What is your process?
Not understanding a single word.
Okay. When did that develop? When did you really understand that Jesus is real and you actually want to pursue this relationship with him?
Right. So it took us about a year to get enough words in our language, I guess, ability to speak and communicate, to understand what was being said in church. And my dad one day decided that we needed to be saved, and he sat us all around the table at dinner time and just had us say the prayer.
Yeah.
And it didn't really like click, but it got closer than the first time.
Yeah.
When I was 7 and introduced to Jesus.
How old are you at this point?
I want to say 10.
Okay.
10 or 11. So around my oldest son's age, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know.
Full circle.
Yes.
So I said the prayer. My sister said the prayer. It was a little confusing, but we figured, well, I guess we're safe now.
Yeah.
And we didn't really like get baptized or anything yet. I didn't understand the whole baptism thing yet until I was like 15 or 16.
Okay.
So that was like
That's
the second.
when you had the prayer, like you made the prayer, but it wasn't really like, because I mean, I feel like it's valid to talk about the fact that many kids grow up in church. They say the prayer. They think that they're a Christian. I would have said I was a Christian as a kid because I'd go to youth group.
Yeah.
I'd go to, like, we'd go to church sometimes. You know what I mean? If you had asked me, do you have a religion? I would have said Christian.
Right.
But
yeah.
was my heart in it? Did I understand it? Did I know Jesus? Did I have a relationship with him? No.
No.
So tell me about the moment where you feel like you actually got it.
I think I was like 15 or 16 when the whole like gospel was explained to me, including the resurrection. And I don't know, your mind isn't really developed yet to fully like grasp what was going on with Jesus's life and what he went through. And it's funny because I just ran into my youth pastor. I think he had the biggest impact on me fully understanding the gospel.
Wow.
So Mark, if you're listening,
thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
We love you, Mark.
And I was baptized when I was 15 up in front of the whole congregation and started to get closer to, I guess, my life being defined by Jesus and what he did for my life. And it changed the way I thought about treating people and doing good for the world. And then high school hit and it was just hard because life got harder. My parents split up officially, and I don't know, I just started questioning like, God, why are you doing this? I think that victim mentality set in.
Yeah.
And just a lot of confusing moments in life. And I started pulling away from church and like listening in church when I was like 16, 17, when I started driving, got a job, moved out at 18. Life just started getting crazy and like testing my faith a lot.
And I'm sure you hadn't fully processed all of this trauma too, that you had lived in for years. And so I would imagine that some of that was like coping and avoiding the pain. Yes. And so I also wanted to go back to the fact that you had that dream when you were in the orphanage of the white hands, and you felt like the Lord had been showing you that you were going to be saved by your parents, right? I mean, that he was going to save you from that situation by bringing you to the U.S.
happened to me and my sisters if they hadn't.
Right. Totally.
And
now, and then your parents are obviously planting so many seeds, showing you love, showing you joy, showing you all of these things that you haven't had since maybe your birth parents from when you were little. It had been a really long time.
My mom was a missionary, so it's like her telling stories about her trips were just feeding my soul.
Yeah, that was really impactful on you.
And I think I put my faith on the back burner just to get through life for a few years.
Yeah, totally.
Long.
And you also had talked about like your self-image, like some of the things that you're struggling with is it's finding your identity, like finding your, like, who are you? And that is so much harder, obviously, when you've gone through what you've gone through and, so much transition, losing your actual parents. I mean, all of this has happened. Tell me about how the Lord started to like build you back up after this season.
I think when I had my first son, I started getting back into seeking Jesus, and that whole pregnancy was kind of wild because the dad didn't want him, or didn't want the baby, didn't want to be a father. And I think that's when I ran back to God, trying to help him fill in as a father to me, and then as a father to the baby who wasn't born yet. And it was a struggle trying to redefine my relationship with God, because I fell so far behind and lost that emotional connection.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because, I found hope at some point and then just lost it so fast.
Yeah. It's almost like you turned away from it, but it was always there. And it's crazy because he was still pursuing you. Like, he was still
Through my
giving you dreams.
Yeah. And my parents were continuously like planting seeds through just whether it was like texting or
They were waiting on you. Like, they were also pursuing you, waiting on you, being like Jesus working through them to pursue your heart. But I
needed to make that decision myself.
Right.
And that's like that with everything, though. My mom always said, you learn the hard way.
Yes. Yeah.
Which
You
I
either,
did.
yeah. Yeah. And you did learn. I mean, and then you came back around. You needed hope. You needed the Lord. I mean, you were desperate.
Find him. And whenever my son was 2, one of my good friends who adopted my nephew, told me that she was going to Jamaica. She had an orphanage there, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe this is like a opening door for me to get closer to God.
Yeah.
And so I went on that trip. I raised some funds, and it was so eye-opening of just God's still there. And just things that happened on that trip, of these elderly people just sitting there, and they're so happy with so little. We went in a little, I think, Kingston, Jamaica, and it's just very run down. The orphanage was in a gas station, and these kids are just running around barefoot with sores on their feet, and it just brought back the orphanage days. And I think a good reminder that God rescued me from that.
Yeah.
And he's there with these people, and he needed me to be there to just remind me.
Yeah. And was that where you were praying for somebody in jail? Okay.
So
tell us about that.
We were having a tour of the senior section, and we walked by this barred room, and this guy was like, get me out of here, get me out of here. And I was just furious. Like, I've never felt that kind of fury. Like, why is this man in a dark room? And it was just soiled. And he was blind, and I was like, why is he in there? And he had, I guess, hit somebody with a hammer, where did he get the hammer?
Yeah.
So I...
Like, while he was in jail?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
I reached my hands in, like, between the bars and just, like, gripped his hands so tight, and he was trembling, like, and my whole body was... I don't know if it was adrenaline. It was probably God. But I was like shaking and just broke out into prayer.
Oh, wow.
And I don't even remember what I prayed over him, but shortly after, the lady came with a key and brought him out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's like a story in the book of Acts.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I mean, it would have been better if God had opened it, but
Yes,
all
yes.
right. So we brought him out and walked him over to the water where everybody was playing and swimming, and kind of just sat there with him. And I told him, I was like, I don't know if you did this or not, but
That was your conversation with him? Did he go
that's all
back
I
into
remember.
jail after that?
No.
He was free.
Yeah.
Like they let
Then-
him out.
Yeah. The next
After
day we
your
came
prayer.
back and he was out walking around.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. What did that mean to you?
Just God frees us from situations that we put ourselves in sometimes. And I think God like uses us to speak to people in ways we don't even know sometimes.
Yeah.
Like
and you felt his power in that situation.
I felt his power just come through my body.
Wow.
That I haven't felt before.
Yeah. So it was like really, really real. Did you get baptized before or after that? You got baptized there, right?
I got baptized there on the last day. It was after that.
And how was
it was
that experience?
emotional, super emotional. Because they were baptizing other people who were on the trip, and I was like, well, maybe this is gonna be the time where it actually like sinks in and connects.
Third time's the charm.
Yes, and it was. It just like I had seen like the Passion of the Christ movie beforehand, and after getting baptized the first time and like receiving Jesus the second time, and it just, I don't know, it just sunk in finally on that trip.
Yeah.
Like this is like purifying.
You
Like,
got it.
actually,
Like you
like-
actually like really
Yeah. Just
got it.
rid of, and I didn't know at the time, but I was carrying my second baby.
Oh, and how old were you? How old were
In
you then?
Jamaica, I was 22, 23 maybe.
Okay. And it's like, it's just interesting because it just sounds like your journey was this, it was this road where so many seeds were planted.
So many, and
And
I ignored a lot of them, which I don't recommend. Whenever you're planting seeds, it's like I've done it where I'm like telling somebody about Jesus, and you just feel like, oh, this person's never actually gonna, receive the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
And you just never know when that seed is gonna like
Come
grow.
to fruition. Yeah. And like, thank God nobody lost hope in you,
Yeah.
and people kept planting seeds. Like your parents kept pursuing you. And Jesus, ultimately, it just goes to show that Jesus doesn't give up on us either. It's not like he grows weary in pursuing us or having these encounters with us. I mean, he was still giving
Right.
you dreams. Tell us about the flying dream.
Oh my gosh. This one hits hard. So I kept having this dream of flying. I was just flying. Whenever the dream started, I was just flying over trees and then over the oceans and landing on this road that looked familiar, which I'll talk about later. But I landed on this road and I couldn't move my feet. And I would like scream out to help because I would see people just ahead of me and nobody would answer. It's like they couldn't hear me. I couldn't hear myself even. And I would just wake up.
And what? Unfold that for us.
And
Or unpack that for us.
now that I'm like older and have a better understanding of dreams have meaning, and looking back on like the last just 2 years, this dream came to life, which is insane. So I kept having this weird feeling that my family was still alive
Your birth parents.
in Europe, and of course my papers said they weren't. And I don't know, it's like, like
There's
there's a
something
gut
within
feeling. Yes. So something's telling me to go do some research. And I kept searching like their names, and I guess the language barrier kept me from finding them because that whenever I prayed about it and I searched up on Facebook, like wherever I was from, and this page popped up, and it was the lost children of Romania.
you.
And I messaged them and I was like, "Oh, what do you guys do?" You know, it sounded like they were trying to look for people
Yeah.
and reconnect their families. So this lady sent me a friend request and sent me a message like, "Oh, we go around because orphanages shut down and all these children got sent home, or they were sent to a foster. I guess they have a foster system there too." And it was wild because it was like years of me wondering, like, do I really have family out there? 'Cause
Yeah.
you feel it. I kept feeling it, and I kept having this dream of going back over there. And I told her the situation and sent her pictures of me and my sisters and the names of my parents that were on file. It took her 2 days to find my mom.
After all of that time.
Yeah.
It only took her 2 days.
Yeah. This was 2 years ago.
Yeah. And you've reconnected.
And my mom reconnected with my mom and my aunt, and I have a half sister over there.
And tell us a little bit about their perspective on this whole situation.
They thought that my sisters and I were sold in the black market for body parts. It's what my mom told me.
Oh, can you imagine how horrifying and sad that was for that many years?
The relief and the pain that she felt when she found out that we were alive, all three of us, like, I can't wrap my brain around it.
Yeah, because she came back to that apartment.
She kept going back to the apartment, to the orphanage. They told her that she would never find out where we were.
Wow, that is so sad. So what does that look like for you now in relationship with your parents? Have you been in contact?
So my dad had passed away 3 years ago from COVID, they said, which I think a lot of people can relate with that.
Yeah.
That kind of loss. Nobody was allowed to go to his funeral or anything.
Oh my gosh.
But talking to my mom and telling my parents now that they're alive, it like halted life for a second, because wait a minute, we were told that they were no longer living.
Yes.
None of them.
There's a lot there.
Yeah. So we coped with it and just accepted it. And here and again, we'll exchange words using a translator.
Oh,
and it took a while for her to understand, like, no, we weren't taken from her.
Does she want you to come back?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But you've built a whole life. You don't know that life. You know this life.
It would be like relearning everything again.
Tell me a little bit about parenting. That we've talked about before. I loved when you talked about the way you used to feel in parenting, of like being a victim.
Oof. So I've had to parent like alone most of my kids' lives. And just felt like complete failure a lot. A lot of stuff has been happening. Just changes in life. Lost cars, housing, been in spots in life where I couldn't afford diapers or like food.
Yeah.
And just have had to figure out how to survive, always be in survival mode for a while, and just felt like a victim of society. But looking, just the mindset change over the years, it's like it's an opportunity for growth. Those challenges just open a window, and I've prayed for like growth and wisdom and strength, and I think God just gave me opportunities to work on those things specifically.
So do you feel like your mindset has completely shifted on that? Like he's walked you through that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And now you feel
Most
powerful.
definitely. Now it's like, okay, I'm supposed to learn something here every time I struggle with something.
Yeah. But you pray and he provide. I mean, you have a lot of testimony of him showing up.
Providing.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that. Are there just a few stories you can?
Okay.
Yeah.
So just recently, my kids and I were almost homeless, and I remember praying the day we had to move everything out of our condo, and I got a phone call from a friend of mine's dad who I've never met, but this friend was pretty close to me. And he's like, so I got several calls that you're looking for a place to live for a while. And it just so happened he had a hotel on the beach, which is like a dream.
Which is a dream for you and your boys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we're always surfing and skating. It was like right across the street from the skate park. And he basically said that we could stay there for however we wanted, and he wouldn't charge us anything. I had just lost my job too, which played a big role in why I lost my home.
Right.
And was on the verge of losing my car too. When I got to the hotel, I had a check waiting for me from someone I've never met.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for like $2,000, which covered my car payments. And she's like, use it for whatever you needed.
Yeah. And you always feel so, like you always have such a confidence, from my perspective, that things are going to work out.
Always.
Because
And I don't know where it comes from.
It just must be because because God has worked it out for you. Because it just always seems like you're like, I'm praying about it.
Yeah.
It'll work out.
That dream of the white hands just pulling me up, I think, has stuck through every single struggle.
Wow.
And in my mind, even like whenever I pulled away from just church and stuff, in my mind, I always like, God's got this. God's got this.
Yeah.
And he has. You just have to like lean on him.
Yeah.
And it's just I'm not deserving most times because I've pulled away for so many years, just staying busy with society's way of living.
Yeah. Which we all do. And none of us are deserving. None of us are worthy. None of us are deserving. It's him who makes us, you know? And so there's just no condemnation. Even if somebody listening right now has walked away, it's like, just Jesus is right there waiting. He is, there's no condemnation in Jesus.
And the biggest story for that's God's got this. This is also very crazy, was when I was 17 and I had a biopsy done on my liver.
Yes.
And I remember the doctor like saying, you're not going to make it past 19.
Wow.
And I remember being 17 on my bed in my room, just in quiet, just praying like, God, like heal me. And I was just in tears. I don't know like what part of that hit me so hard when I was in that moment, just praying. I remember just having a really hard day and I was just praying for calmness and healing. And I just felt this like warm embrace. Nobody was in my room, just this warmth. And physically, like, I felt like it was
like somebody's
hugging.
arms were around you.
Yep. And I'm 34 now.
And you went back to the doctor.
And I went back to the doctor, and my liver's like fine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jesus.
Crazy.
That is amazing.
It's
and it was just you and him, like nothing other than just having faith in that moment.
It was just crazy. And my mom's always like, "Are you sure?"
Yeah,
Even
that's
still,
a documented
sure?
miracle. Were the doctors like, what happened?
Yeah.
Did you tell them?
I didn't tell them that. I should have.
That would have been such a good testimony. Yeah.
Definitely
You're
should
probably
have.
kind of taken aback by it.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about the skate park. I want to hear that
Okay.
story really quick.
So we live at the skate park.
Really? I mean,
literally
a lot of your waking hours is
minus working and sleeping.
Yeah.
My youngest son and I were at the skate park all day this day, and we were tired by the end of the day. It was like 9:00 at night. We've been there since 8 a.m. And
wow, gosh, he has energy.
A lot. And it was summer. It was hot. And we were about to leave the park, and I had gotten to the stop sign to turn to go home, and I just heard a voice saying, "Turn around." Like, turn around. And I was like, okay, what am I hearing?
Yeah.
So I was like, Gavin, we need to go back. And he's like, why? I'm tired. I want to go home.
Yeah.
And so I go back and park and just get out of my car, and I hear a lady like screaming out a name, and I like see her walking with her older child and her newborn. And I was like, oh, what's wrong? And she's like, my son's missing. And I was like, oh, what's his name? And she tells me his name. And she said she was loading her newborn in her car and turned around, and he was gone.
How old was he?
4.
Yeah.
And he was she said he was nonverbal, so he was not like responding to the name.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, well, how long has he been gone, and where'd you park? And she parked close to where I was. And I started looking, and my son and I were walking around like yelling his name. I thought at first, I was like, oh, maybe she lost her cat or something.
Right.
And so I was about to dial 911, and I was like, oh my gosh, he probably ran to the skate park. Because we didn't see anyone at the playground at all. And so my son and I went to look around the skate park, and sure enough, he was like at the bottom of the bowl.
Yeah, just to give people context, there's like, this skate park has a really deep bowl that if you were like an adult has a hard time climbing out of it. So like a child,
so
it's steep sides too.
Must have fallen in. There's no lights or anything.
And you had the idea that might have happened before you walked over there, right? That he
something told me. I was like, if he had run off in that short amount of time, that would be the first place that he would go to.
Yeah. And sure enough, you went over there.
He was over there.
And he was in the bottom.
Yeah.
And he was asleep or had passed out.
He looked confused, like frazzled. He wasn't passed out. I helped him up and like checked him over and asked him if he was okay.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, just really quietly. Yeah. And I took him to his mom, and I could tell like she was super anxious, which I would be too.
Obviously. Yeah. That's terrifying.
And I just laid my hand over her and told her I'm so glad that he's okay. Praise God. Didn't pray over her, which I should have, but I got in my car, made sure that they left okay.
Yeah.
And just prayed for her in my car.
Wow.
And I hope that she like felt that.
And who knows how long that would have taken if you hadn't listened to
I don't think she would have ever thought to look at the park.
Yeah. They would have had to get the police out there and everything, which would have been even more
yeah,
traumatic.
and I didn't want to put that on her. I think God just spoke to me in that moment.
That is so cool.
I would have been frantic.
Well, it's crazy because if we just listen to that voice sometimes, and like it oftentimes feels so out of left field and so
Yeah.
like you don't understand like why it's nighttime. Why would you go back to, because
We
the skate park
question
was
it
closed
so
down.
many
There's
times.
no lights on. Like, why would you go back there? But
Thank goodness I did.
yes, but God had a reason. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Okay, well, will you pray over the audience
Sure.
before
Absolutely.
we end? Thank you.
All right. Dear Jesus, I just want to thank you for just giving us the courage to sit here and tell our stories and telling my story. And I hope that somebody out in the audience hears it and just receives the light that you provide for us and the hope
Yes.
and healing, and let them know that you're always there, always have been there, and always will be there to just pull us out of our struggles and just stumbling blocks in life. And I hope that if anyone hears my story and just feels touched by it, just I just pray that they receive this story, and let it be a light to you, and everything be pointed to you. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.